Oh, great fence spirits, I am once again asking for your wisdom. I have an urgent problem.
You really can't solve anything on your own, can you?
I'm gonna ignore that. No, you see, in my last mall tier list video, I feel as though I was too biased. I ranked malls that were really far away lesser simply because of their distance. And well, not everybody's distance from a mall is the same as my own. I just don't know. Should I? What can I do to make up for that?
You must talk about malls that are always far away.
Hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea, but what do you mean? I haven't gone to many malls outside of Florida.
Reach deep inside yourself and Google photos.
Reach deep. I'll look back in the past, yes. I'll talk about some malls outside of Florida.
Breaking news! A new episode of Let's Be Frank starting now!
Hello, all. You heard the great fence spirit. To atone for my sins in the last mall video, I'm going to talk about some of the malls that are farthest away from me. Yes, some malls that are outside the state of Florida. I've been to quite a few. Not a ton, not as many malls as I've been to in Florida, but a decent amount and enough to warrant another video. My favorite topic, too. Lucky me. So without further ado, let's move right into things as quick as we can, because I do want to tell some fun stories that have to do with some of these malls as well. Let's get started. And so the first mall we're going to talk about today, we're going to start off big, is the Mall of America. Located in Minnesota, it is America's biggest mall. And it makes sense that it is, because if you didn't already know, the Mall of America has a theme park inside of it. Yeah, a Nickelodeon themed theme park. It had rides themed to SpongeBob, the Fairly Odd Parents. I'm pretty sure there was an Avatar, the Last Airbender one even. I was just starting to watch Avatar with Leah and Jokum at that point. So although I did get some of the references, I wasn't necessarily as excited about some of those rides as I was to see things like the SpongeBob ride. It was so cool. I got to ride the SpongeBob one and the Fairly Odd Parents roller coaster. They're both very, very cool. And the rest of the mall as a whole was great. The reason I had visited this mall was because me and some others from my church had gone to a missions conference over there. But before we got to go to the house we were going to be staying in, we got the chance to explore the Mall of America. And we weren't there for too long. I think we were there for like an hour and a half, maybe. And this mall, this is a 4-story mall, but yeah, it was a 4-story mall. And we did not have nearly enough time to explore the whole thing. One of my top bucket list entries is to definitely go back someday and explore it fully and in the way it deserves. This mall was fantastic though. Although I didn't get to see too much of it, I remember it being awe-inspiring, and it's one of the first things, or really the first mall, that really showed me that maybe there is more to life than just the Volusia Mall. I know, right? Anyway, on to the next mall! The next mall I'm going to bring up for our list is the Concord Mills Mall, located in North Carolina. A few years back, Kyle and I wanted to visit our friend who lived up there, and while there, we got to visit the Concord Mills. This was a very cool mall. It was the first time I'd seen a mall that was a complete circle. You can't really tell in any of the pictures I've got, but this mall wrapped around perfectly, so you could just keep going and never get off, like a haunted carousel. And had a lot of really great stores inside of it. There was an entire Best Buy and Bass Pro in this store. So a bit of a funny story really quick. I was working at Sam's Club at this time, and I was in our electronics department. And so, I don't work there anymore. I haven't worked there since 2017. So when I went into Best Buy, I was wearing an outfit that looked very similar to one a Best Buy employee would be wearing. And since I had a little bit of TV knowledge up here, I walked up to a guy who was looking to buy a TV, and I started talking to him about it. I told him some of the specs on it, and what it can do and what it couldn't do, and then he started getting, asking questions that only a real Best Buy employee would have been able to answer. And so I said, oh, let me go get one. And I just walked out of the store with Kyle and our friends, and I still think that's the funniest thing to this day. As we were heading out, I even heard, or I looked back and I saw the guy kind of point to me and talking to a Best Buy employee, so I think he caught on that I did not work there. Anyway though, after that big tangent, let's get back to the main point of this video. Concord Mills was a great mall, big wide open food court, and really nothing much to complain about. It had a big movie theater inside of it too. Very good mall, and once again, like the Mall of Millennia, I would love to return someday. It seemed like a mall I'd like to, you can go back to multiple times, it never gets old. Like the Seminole Town Center here in Florida. Alright, and so we're done talking about Concord Mills, and now let's move on to another mall, one that's even farther away. We're taking a trip way across the water to talk about the Oracle Mall, located in Reading, England. Just, if memory serves, about an hour and a half outside of London. Now, for those of you who don't know, the whole reason, what basically sparked this channel's creation was me doing vlogs. And what started me doing vlogs was when I went to the UK with Kyle and Aaron back in January of this year, 2020. And right at the beginning. We were literally on the plane during New Year's Eve. But yeah, I have been to the UK. My friends and I went all the way from London, all the way up to, I hope you can see it in the camera, from London to Scotland. And it was a great time, a great trip, but we got to see two different malls while we were there. The first one being the Oracle. Now, to be fair, the whole reason we went to this mall at all was because Kyle and Aaron wanted to go to the one Chick-fil-A in the UK. Yes, I'm being totally serious. They were so dead set on this. Honestly, I would have rather just eat more UK food the whole time, but whatever. I'll give them this, even though they didn't let me go to Shrek's Adventure. But I digress. Not gonna hold grudges. Anyhow, so we arrive at the Chick-fil-A, but lo and behold, it is not just a Chick-fil-A, it is inside of the mall. Well, this made me very happy. This was such a cool mall. It had 2 levels to it. And although it wasn't the biggest I'd ever seen or anything like that, it certainly had a charm to it. It had a store in it that was very similar to what an FYE or a box lunch would be here in America. I'm blanking on the name of it, but I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Yeah, so not only did it have the Chick-fil-A and this, but it also had a lot of stores that we have here and some that we don't. And it was just such a cool experience to get to go to a mall outside, not only outside of Florida, but outside of America, North America, on a completely different continent. Of course, like with all the others I just mentioned, I'd love to go back there someday. And honestly, spoiler alert, there's not a disappointing mall on this list, so I'm just going to stop saying that. I'd love to go back to all these malls someday in the future. But let's stick in the UK and talk about another mall here in Europe. As I mentioned, Kyle, Aaron, and I went from London all the way up to Scotland. And on our way up to Scotland, we stopped in Liverpool. We did a couple different things there. And while in Liverpool, we did a lot there, but we also went to, I believe, don't quote me on this, it was either the second or third biggest mall in the UK, Liverpool one. And my goodness, it was beautiful, especially once you got to the higher levels. Now, if you remember from my first video, the Florida Mall tier list, I stated that I didn't want to count outlet malls. And that's because I do prefer an indoor mall. And that's what I thought Liverpool 1 was going to be. Now, upon further inspection, once we got there, we quickly realized this was an outdoor mall with a bunch of shops all around and everything. And it was a lot different than I thought it would be, but man, did I really enjoy seeing everything. Like I said, especially when you got to the higher levels, it just had a mall feel that I really enjoyed. It had a lot of McDonald's in it. For some reason, I made sure to count each McDonald's I saw in the UK, and Liverpool 1 had, I think, 2 separate ones in it. High class. There's also a movie theater right nearby as well. A lot of different things to see. There was a Lush, always good to see a Lush. Yeah, as you can see, this was a fantastic mall. A side note, I hope that I'm not blocking too much of the picture with my body. I'm trying to stay as far away as possible while still being in the shot. But yes, this mall was fantastic, Liverpool 1. And again, I only wish I had more time to explore this mall. But yes, Liverpool 1 was so fantastic, as was the Oracle. And if I ever go back to the UK, definitely going back to those. So now that we've gotten those two covered, I want to finish up here on another mall very far away. We've got to go to Norway for that one, though. And the name of this mall was AMFI Stavanger. Or Amphi Stavanger? Not entirely sure. I can't really remember. I hope that's correct too, because I don't really know the name. That's what came up in my Google search, though. Totally professional there, Frank. Yes. This mall was located in Stavanger, Norway. Stavanger? I accidentally called it Stankenheim once. That's definitely not right. This was such a great mall, regardless of the name of the area, which I think I'm pronouncing that right, Stavanger. This mall was truly fantastic. It was the first mall we went to in Norway. We did go to 2, but I'll get to that in a minute. And it was, if memory serves, it was a 3-story tall mall and one of the biggest in Norway. So beautiful. It had an entire grocery store in it. Reminded me a lot of like a Target, but on steroids. It was so cool. And I would go back in a heartbeat. It had one of those cool things, I'd never seen one before, where it's like an escalator, but for the shopping cart. Amazing.
This is for carts and children. But mainly for carts.
Maybe this place, Paul.
Yes, but that is going to do it for our video today. I've been wanting to talk about more of these malls for a long time. In fact, originally, I was going to include some of these malls, like from the UK and Norway, in my ultimate mall tier list video. Originally, it wasn't just going to be Florida malls. But I decided these malls were better saved for another day. So now you get a whole nother video about malls. I bet you're very excited about that. If you like malls as much as I do, why don't you give this video a like to show it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I probably won't be making another video on malls again. If I go to enough new ones in the future, maybe I will, but that would be so far down the road, I'm not going to promise anything. So I hope you enjoyed the Ultimate Florida Mall tier list, and this video, which I don't know the title of yet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow my Instagram, which is Let's Be Frank 2020. And with all of that being said, thanks for watching. Until next time.